for it, you basically put out what you want,
Okay.
and you come in agreement that we're meeting just for this, and that's it.
Oh, okay. So it was never something that no one ever waited around for you after.
No.
Were you ever
Not to
paid
my
for
knowledge.
sex? You never solicited
I'm
yourself.
gonna be honest. When I got to after being arrested, and
We'll talk about that in a little while.
it was hard getting a job. I always said to myself, if I can find a way, because I didn't want to do it illegally,
Sure.
because I didn't want to get in jail again.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I would always say to myself, if there was a way I can get to Las Vegas and get myself, my papers to do it, I would. Because at that moment, that was the only way I could see
You
myself.
mean go to Las Vegas to be a prostitute?
Right.
And to be
So I can get money.
okay. And at that moment, just for the YouTube and Facebook audience that will be getting this show, at that moment, you going to Vegas to be a prostitute. What kind of prostitute were you going to be? A gay or whatever?
To me, my thinking in that moment was I was so desperate for work, for money.
Sure.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who you were. I would say even I was desperate enough because the one thing I would tell when men would get with me, I would always ask, are you married? And if they said yes, I said, sorry, I can't. I just can't do that. And so in that moment I said I would even get with a married woman, man, it didn't matter, because I was just so desperate for money, and I was desperate for a job.
And why would you stop at, because you was only out there for pleasure, why would you stop at if the man was married?
Because I had to, I couldn't, I was thinking of the other person.
Like the wife.
Yeah, even though she doesn't know, it's still the fact, I don't know. I mean, just, I guess, a heavy conviction saying that this woman did nothing to me.
Sure.
So why should I, in a sense, do that to her?
Sure.
And that's why I just, for whatever reason, and then there were even times where I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But then it would get to the point where I would tell them, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, I just can't. And they would understand, because some of them have been in it so long, they understand the rejection because they know they're married. But I just couldn't do it.
Couldn't bring yourself to it.
I couldn't do it.
All right, let's go to 2003. I think it was January. You said one day in January 2003, the police was at your door.
Right.
They knocked on your door.
Right.
And what was that all about?
Well, to kind of go back, the person I was with when I was a child introduced me to pornography.
Sure.
And like I said, it started out with just pictures of naked men.
Sure.
And for me, pornography was like drugs, because some people can just do one drug and that's it, but some keep going, escalating. And that's how it was with porn. I mean, it started out with just naked pictures of men, and then it was just naked pictures of women, and then it was heterosexual together, and it was gays, and it was bisexuals, and then it was, I basically seen everything.
Did you get aroused when you saw the naked men pictures? That really struck a nerve. But what about when you saw the naked women pictures?
Yes. I mean, basically, minus...
Was that a wish? Was that a wish that you could get with
I
one?
always wanted to be with a woman, but like I said, I was afraid I was going to disappoint her.
Oh, okay.
And so I would say basically everything I've seen as far as, well, there are a couple I'd rather not mention that are, to me, were disgusting.
Sure.
Certain fetishes, but most of it I was aroused to. And one of the things I found that was child porn. And to me, child porn was an escape to lying to myself, as far as, okay, what I did was wrong, as far as what me and the other guy did. But when I saw the child porn, I'm like, okay, so if these kids can do it,
Sure.
and it looks okay, then I guess what I did wasn't wrong. Because like I said, once I found out after what I was doing was wrong, I felt betrayed, because I felt like, shouldn't he have known this? Because I always thought he knew more than me.
Sure.
And so I thought to myself, shouldn't he have known this? Why did he? And so the only way I can feel good about doing wrong was to lie to myself saying it was right. And child porn was my way of looking at it saying, if they can do it, then I can do it.
So child porn to you basically put you back there psychologically where you were at 4 years old, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So therefore you didn't see it wrong.
No.
You were you ever aroused by the child porn?
Yes, very much. I mean,
okay, and aroused, didn't that, now what the audience want to know now, aroused in what state of mind?
in two ways.
Okay.
I imagine myself with them.
With a child?
Right, as a child though.
As a child?
Yes.
Okay.
And then even as messed up as it sounds, I would imagine men who I had wished molested me when I was a child.
Okay, but would you imagine them as men molested you as a child?
Yeah.
As a grown man,
Yeah,
the men that you were with sometime, right? You wish that they would have molested you, been a molester as
right.
your child.
And even men who have been with me, I would just look at them and go, wow, I really wish I had a relationship with them when I was a child.
But then would you, in that state of misunderstanding, let me just say this, in that state of slightly bent, some would say confused, in that state that you wished that they were with you when you were 4, 5, 6 years old, did you wish that they were 4, 5, 6 years old, or did you wish them to be a grown man?
Grown man, right.
Wow.
That's,
okay.
yeah, because some of the child porn was molestation. Sometimes it was according to, the description, a father with his son. And that's when I would go, I really wish this man would have,
And at that time you saw child porn, you saw actually a man penetrating into a little child.
Right.
And a lot of times that's his own son that he's
Right.
digging into.
Right.
Wow.
And
You wish that was you.
yes. And at the time, again, I'll say, how do I say this? The real me knew it was wrong. But, the child who was all messed up wanted it to be right. And
Which was you at the time.
Right.
Oh, the child in me that was messed up.
It wanted it to be right. And so the child porn was my way of making it right. Even though real deep down inside I knew it was wrong. Because like I said, I was just so disappointed that I found out after it was wrong rather than knowing it was wrong before it started.
Okay, well, what age was you when you found out that it was wrong? When you pronounced the man, a young person you were with, you call him Dub. Is that D-U-B?
Mm-hmm.
Is it pronounced Dub or Dab?
Dub.
Dub, okay. Someone told me D-U-B was Dab, but you say Dub, right? Okay. It's just a figure of speech anyway. Okay, so how did you look at when you saw the man penetrating his son, or a grown man penetrating any kid, and you wished that you was in that position? So you didn't see them as wrong.
Right.
So it didn't bother you that what was going on at that time with the man. You didn't say like, oh man, what is this right here?
No.
You wish that you could.
I was envisioning myself as a child with another man.
Casey, what was missing in your life? What was really missing?
I would definitely say at that time the relationship with my father was pretty much estranged.
Sure.
By then my parents had divorced, and I was living with my mother. And during that time period, my father lived I think like an hour and 30 minutes away from me, so I didn't see him as much. So I know that much was missing. And I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I guess trust in a way was missing, because I feel like I couldn't trust anyone anymore.
Okay.
And I guess deeply love for myself was missing, definitely.
Okay.
I know at that moment I couldn't love myself. I couldn't even like myself.
And what was it? You said that before too, as we were coming to this interview about not loving yourself. What was it about you that you didn't love? Did you?
Well, being number one, being bullied in school.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, doing things that I really, really did not want to do, but couldn't stop myself from doing it.
Which was the sex part.
Right, the sex, the masturbation, porn, child porn, everything. Even, like I said, the relationship between Dub and I ended when I was my first year in college, which would be 18, 19.
So y'all had some
And
years
so,
together.
yeah. And so, even that I didn't like it. I mean, the pleasure was nice, but I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that I could not stop myself. And, well, I keep saying could. I wouldn't stop myself. I would not stop myself. And so I just had so much hate. And like I said, being bullied in school about me, overweight, and even during the time, I was not all that masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really do the sports, so I got picked on because of that. I was not cool, got picked on because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you know this right here too, Dub. I mean, in case I'm calling you Dub, sorry. You know this right here that being cool and being masculine is learned behavior.
right.
Right. Just a matter of exercise and a few months, your body will change. And then most times, you're a tall guy, you probably wouldn't have to worry about that.
Well, that was another thing. I just didn't have discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, from the age of 10 up until 2003, I went on so many diets.
Sure.
And just couldn't discipline myself to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another reason why I was hating myself.
Did you have, all right, we talked about on the way here to this interview about, tell us about your growing up. What kind of community do you come from?
Well, it changed as I grew up.
Sure.
Old Bridge, it was originally predominantly white.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like the South,
Mm-hmm.
but you would be lying if you said there was no prejudice there.
Sure.
You would be lying. When I was first growing up, it got to the point to where when you saw a black family, your thought was, well, where do they live? Wow, it's someone else other than us.
So so let me ask you this right here. I have to interject this here. Along them levels, them years of growing up, who did you have friends?
Yeah. School, basically, I would say neighborhood friends, but we went to school together too, so I would just say school friends.
School friends. Did you go over their house and they came over your house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the time. All the time.
But you also mentioned too that you didn't have a lot of black interaction.
Only with family, but even well, I would say mostly with my dad's side, because my mom's side of the family is mixed.
Sure.
I have a lot of her siblings married interracial.
Okay.
So I have on my mom's side of the family Asian, Hispanic, and white,
Mm-hmm.
and black. So it's mixed. So as far as just I always say in the city, like growing up in Newark, stuff like that, no, I didn't see that much of that. I mean, and other than church, because we went to a predominantly black church, other than that, no.
So when you came back home and your man hours, your minutes, your hours that you spent really was not with the black.
Not mostly.
Mostly.
No.
Do you feel a loss because of that?
I don't, only because I guess I don't know what I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that always angered me was when I found out that I was not culturally black.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, because by the time I went to high school, that's when Old Bridge started to change a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you saw a lot of everything, not just white and blacks, but everything was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like my freshman, sophomore year, how do I say? I heard it. I don't know if they know I heard it, but I heard the jokes of me not being black enough.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I was more upset and didn't. I guess you can say I'm kind of the person where when you say something, I go the opposite way.
Sure.
So the fact that they're making fun of me, I'm like, well, then I don't care. I don't want to be black enough then, because if that's if you think it's bad, I mean, And to me, it's where you live. It's a culture. It's not necessarily a skin color.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because